gonna teach you a fart called the Nagasaki. It's called the Nagasaki because if you do it right, it makes people go, ooh. Nagasaki! Just remember one very important thing. Never, ever fart on anyone's balls. You got that? All right.
Coming this holiday season. Or some holiday season, hopefully kind of soon. You know how video games are.
E3 2013 Post-show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our Nintendo Direct E3 2013 post-show, brought to you by Speedstick. We're back with Greg Miller, Rich George, and the legendary Per Schneider.
Ooh, legendary.
For the next hour, we will be discussing what we just saw from Nintendo. You can also tweet us questions at IGN with the hashtag E3. Okay, highlights, first impressions. Nintendo did something very different this year. Did it work?
It was fairly effective on some levels. I mean, they got right to the games. That's what Wii U's been missing. So it's just game. So on that level, I think that was a success. I think they obviously had some streaming issues, which is a problem because if you're going to do an online-only kind of broadcast and your stream doesn't work. I got a lot of tweets from people in North America that could not watch this thing.
Yeah,
and we were switching around to like the UK feed and the Japanese feed, and we're like, where can we watch this thing of yours? So
yeah, this was their chance to impress the press, right? After a big day yesterday and a strong finish from Sony, they had to put their best foot forward, and that usually includes showing their games in the best light, right? And we'll talk about the lineup in a second, but a lot of these titles felt like they were transposed from 3DS, and when you're watching it on a choppy stream and having playback issues, it doesn't exactly knock your socks off. But in summary, I think some of the games shown were really good. I can't wait to play them, but the whole event left me a little, And
this is the trick, right? With what they showed is they showed me Super Mario 3D World. That will be a fantastic game. 3D Land was a fantastic 3DS game. However, is it the Mario game I want?
There's a cat suit in
there
it.
is.
It's the game
I want the cat suit.
Come on.
All right, Cat Mario is pretty awesome. I mean,
I was just like, take the money. There you go.
The second I saw that, it was amazing, but my issue with it is I feel like Nintendo had two burdens this E3. One, prove that third parties are willing to support them, and two, show why Wii U matters. I played an equivalent of 3D World on my 3DS, right? Like this, actually, I saw people tweeting going, oh, this is a 3DS game, right? No. It's the Wii U game. It's the Wii U game. And so where's my Mario Galaxy that really shows me why I'm playing on Wii U? I feel like, and this is maybe one of the tricks about not having a press conference, is you have trouble getting your vision and your strategy out there and talking about your larger idea. And you're able to show a cool-looking game, and this game, I'm sure, will be great, and it's got 4 players, and Princess Peach floats, which is amazing. Once again, we saw that a long time ago, but she's able to do it again, and all that looks really fun. I think that game will be great. I've actually played it. It is really fun. I don't know, but it's not.
Like watching it, you don't get the difference. I think once you play these games, once you see them on your screen in your home, it'll take on more of a shape. But right now, it feels like what the Wii U is offering you is kind of what the 3DS offered you, right? And Mario Kart may be a little different if we want to talk about that next.
You think that was the biggest announcement?
Yes, Mario Kart was the biggest announcement as far as kind of showing the visuals, because we've been clamoring for a new F-Zero, right? We're hardcore gamers. We love that franchise. It's really difficult. I don't think Mario Kart will be difficult, but you saw a lot of vertical courses. You saw hover carts and everything. So I think they're merging. They're merging the two concepts there. I think that looks really good. That looks really awesome.
See the hover car there, which it sort of seamlessly transitions when you are in crazy upside-down levels like that.
Just take my money.
I mean, the game looks fantastic.
Greg, you have to own a Wii U.
I know, but by the time these games come out in 2014, I'll be able to get the price drop of Wii U.
And that's another trick, right? That's another sort of issue here, is that we've got the Mario game, which might not be quite the revelation that Mario Galaxy was, Mario Kart's not coming until spring 2014.
We'll see a year from now.
Now, granted, and we'll get into this in a little bit, the Wii U lineup, once we get to August, actually really starts to kind of fire up. There's some good stuff on the way, and basically every single month there will be something that's really quality. However, 3DS started to turn around once Mario and Mario Kart hit in short succession.
Right.
And we have to wait a little while for this. And I mean, just the way it works with Nintendo, what does spring 2014 mean? July?
Yep.
I mean, Pikmin 3 and Wonderful 101 were supposed to be launch window. Still waiting. So
this looks really complex. Remember, this is really online focused too, right? And Nintendo's been taking steps to make the Mario Kart games more competitive with other big online games, and they're promising some big stuff for this.
They promised to quote the best collection of online multiplayer modes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right then. He said it was more than just racing. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right.
I mean, I actually really think that a battle mode with hover carts would be kind of amazing. Like, can you imagine you're just like kind of scaling around the ceiling and stuff? Like, you could do some really, really cool stuff.
But what's the Wii U specific stuff? A lot of the games I saw, I kept on saying like, why do I need a Wii U for this?
So after playing all, I played, and we'll get to it in a second, but we played Donkey Kong and I played Super Mario 3D World and I played Mario Kart. I still don't know. And that is a big problem.
What's the bottom screen used for in Mario Kart, for example?
It's maps and stuff and in 3D World, it's just a duplication of, the TV.
And then in some games you have 5 players, so you have one player with a pad can do something different, like Wonderful 101, for example.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they're able to do the 5 players because you can get 4 Wii remotes and then a gamepad. Although with Wonderful 101, I didn't see that in action. They didn't explain, can I do that online? That would be really cool. I doubt it. It's probably just little gamepads and, the gamepad, or, the Wii remotes. But it's fine. I mean, 5 players. That's
Did
cool.
you get to play Wonderful 101 as well?
I played it last year's E3. I didn't play it this time. I mean, the game looks great. I mean, it's actually really kind of unique for Platinum. It's basically Beautiful Joe meets Pikmin, which I think everybody who played either of those games, or hopefully you played both, know that is an awesome idea.
No, I remember reading your original preview and then watching it today. I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about this game in forever. But
Do you know when it's coming?
September, I want to say 15th for North America. The weird part is that Japan and
I
Europe
guess I'll
get
play
it
that
in
instead
August.
of GTA 5 then.
Yeah. I mean, that's the trick, right? Is like it is right up.
It's a really neat game. It's not the game that I think mainstream consumers will be rushing out to the stores for, right? Like that. And that again, I keep on going back to that. Like, you kind of needed a Mario Kart for the holiday season, like something seriously big, visually impressive that makes it stand out from the 3DS, and they don't have that, and they don't have it on the third-party side. So I think that's a huge issue for Nintendo this year, with the new consoles launching in their faces.
So what will be the big holiday game? Super Mario or 3D World?
So 3D World is December. Donkey Kong is November. October is Wind Waker. September is Wonderful 101. August is Pikmin. So you have one major Nintendo release every single month. However, Pikmin 101 are not going to drive a lot of,
they don't get word of mouth and buzz. And
I don't think so.
Saying, oh my gosh, Mom, look at this, we have to have.
They'll make us really happy. What about Sonic, though? That's a big franchise,
Sonic
right?
looks really good. It's exclusive to Wii U and 3DS. I think that's great. It was sort of lumped into their sort of general highlight reel, although they had a direct that focused more on it last, like a month ago.
I thought it was a mistake. I figured they would go a little bigger on Sonic, given that this is one of the few third-party supporters, right, Sega, and then it's such a big brand and it's exclusive. But maybe they're doing that throughout the show.
Well, this is kind of the strange thing, is the last time when they revealed Lost World, they just showed the static image. And then here, they just show a quick highlight in the highlight reel, and it's like, guys, I mean, okay, if you tune into IGN, you've seen all of the E3 demo and all that footage, but what about, other people? Like, what about anybody, casual Nintendo fans just tuning into the Direct? Like, show Sonic. Like, it's an exclusive. Like, it's the one major exclusive you have.
Who was this Nintendo Direct aimed at? You talk about, hardcore IGN fans know this. I was tweeting all this stuff about it, and I had multiple people tweeting back at me going, I don't understand. Is there a Nintendo press conference right now?
And this is the weird thing, Greg.
Early risers.
Yeah, seriously. But, this is what's really weird to me is, so I would say probably of most of the IGN editors, I have the most Nintendo-related following. People wanting Nintendo news follow me. I had them asking me where to go see this thing.
Right.
And I was like, go to Nintendo.com. I don't know. Like, it's somewhere e3.nintendo.com or whatever.
And watch the stream I'm on because you'll crash it.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, and they did have what appeared to be a pretty significant viewership, but that's why I was stuttering and crashing and those sorts of things. But I don't know that Nintendo fans are really aware of this new strategy. And I mean, they've been doing it for a while. They've been doing Nintendo Directs for well over a year now, a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, so to bring people
It's hard to reprogram, though.
Nintendo Directs are these one-off conferences where they talk directly to consumers. And even though they've been doing them for a while, this is the first time they've really said, you know, we're passing on E3, we'll just let these Directs talk.
Well, and prevent let's be honest, prevent the press from streaming these events as well, right? Like, in years past, our Nintendo streams have always been some of the biggest conferences that we host on IGN, and you know our competitors do the same. This year we weren't allowed to stream it. Of course, the end game for Nintendo is they want to build a platform for programming, and they probably want users to watch this kind of content on the Wii U and the 3DS, where you can download the footage as well. That works when you have a big audience on those platforms and you have an established viewership. It's a challenge, as you said, when a lot of people don't know where to go. And so that's something they either have to figure out how to market these streams better, or they have to open up a little bit and share.
I mean, it's something we've been talking about for the past couple months since they revealed that they've dropped the press conference, was you're trying to reprogram people who have become accustomed to tuning into a specific thing for a decade.
Yeah.
Now, in 2 months, by the way, we're not doing that. Go to this place here. And that's really, really, really hard to do.
And it might not work. So.
And the other thing is, like, you have a very limited install base of your new home console. Like, spread out, reach as many people. Like, of all the years, I would have said this is the year where you want a press conference. Maybe a couple of years ago, maybe not, or something like that. But like, this was the year to prove Wii U can compete in next gen with next gen.
Now we're missing a big announcement today. Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Pear's been out of the game so long he's over here. I'll tell you what the biggest Mario Kart was the biggest. Were you kidding me?
Yeah.
Smash Brothers is back. Mega Man's in it. Woo!
Before we get too deep into Smash Brothers, we're going to take a quick break.
Excited this early in the morning.
We're going to talk about Smash Brothers, but first we got to take a quick break. Don't go away.
All right.
Right there!
Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. I've seen bigger. Oh, please don't bite me. Don't bite me. Ah, it bit me. It bit me. It bit me. Oh, it burns. What else you got?
Sweating on the inside? Handle it on the outside with the all-day power of new Speed Stick Power.
Maybe we should have used the vacuum.
Maybe.
New Speed Stick Power. Don't sweat it. Handle it.
E3 2013 Post Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to Nintendo's Direct, the Nintendo Direct post-show analysis.
On IGN at E3 2013.
Yes, a lot of information. We're just about to dive into Smash Brothers, which was just announced for Wii U and 3DS.
Yeah.
Just Super Smash Brothers, no like subtitle.
Yeah, not yet. I assume there'll be some sort of fighting type of subtitle in there somewhere, you know. Smash Brothers Conflict, or I don't know, whatever.
That was awesome. I mean, they really know how to do trailers for this franchise. Always in the past, they've dazzled us by rolling out all the characters. You get the sense of nostalgia, and then they do that little thing where like, here's a new guy, right? And they start with the villager from Animal Crossing.
That was awesome.
And let's talk. I mean, that is the most benign character in all of games. Like that guy doesn't ever hurt anybody. You try to hit somebody with a shovel, and he just won't do it, right? And like here he is, and he comes in. He's got this glint in his eye.
The shovel moves he does, where
he traps him, or his smash attack is basically him chopping down a tree, and it just hits it and it goes
awesome.
flying off in the air. I mean, it looks amazing. Again, like Per was saying, though, actually Mario Kart will be the biggest thing for them. Smash Brothers is actually much more of like a hardcore type of game. But I'm super excited. I mean, everybody thought and wanted Mega Man in Brawl. Right. And it didn't happen. Like, they're like, oh, Sonic, Snake, okay, that must mean Mega Man. And Mega Man never showed up. So they got him. By at least judging from the trailer appearance, he can equip the Robot Master abilities in some fashion.
Yeah.
Judging by the trailer, like, he's totally overpowered.
He got everything.
Does he have every boss?
My bet is that you like equip like 2 or 3 of them before a match. And so you have a couple abilities that you work with. I don't know.
You think it's not as special as something? I mean, we saw Metal Man's Blade, Crash Bomber, Leaf Shield, Slash Claw, Hard Knuckle, Flame Sword, Spark Shot, Super Arm, Flame Blast. It kept on going on.
And it spans Mega Man 1 through 6, like from all the games. I mean, the trick is that you only have. I mean, so far as we know, we don't know this, but like in traditional Smash Brothers, you have B. Your special attack button up, side, standard, down. You can't fit all those on there, so I'm just guessing that. And we also saw Rush. We saw the Mega Buster, and you can charge that too. So how you mix all those things together. I kind of figure you're picking a couple things ahead of time, but I don't know for sure.
Was this the reveal of the 3DS being like this cell shaded, having its own?
Yeah, so it's got like a light cell shaded treatment, obviously, to kind of I'm sure to keep that kind of frame rate clipping. It looks kind of like Melee, but with a slight kind of wash over it.
Yeah,
basically.
I like that. I thought
it looked
good.
great. Yeah,
I love
It
those
looked
hard
great,
black
yeah. I mean, it always looks a little pixelated when you blow it up to a bigger screen like this, but once you see it on the small screen, it'll look really nice.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, the thing I was always wondering, and we still don't know many gameplay details. We're just like, here is some footage.
Is that one playable here?
I don't know. I have not played it. I don't know. I mean, you look at the footage and it certainly looks playable, but I'm not sure. And I'm actually wondering if there's because when we managed to get a few questions in with Sakurai over the last couple of years about this game, and he just sort of said, yeah, we're thinking of some new twists, some new angles, because I basically asked him, like, can you keep this franchise going by just adding characters and stages?
Yeah.
And in the case of Mega Man, the answer is yes. But the question is, like, okay, so you've added Villager and you've added Mega Man, now your roster is, what, 500? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like,
I think they have to cut back some characters. I mean, some fan favorites will not appear. And guys, it's being developed by Namco Bandai, right?
Yeah.
Which means there are going to be Namco Bandai characters in it, right?
I want old school Pac-Man, like the little.
Oh, you're getting new Pac-Man.
I don't want like arm
Pac-Man.
I don't need
Pac-Man.
that. Like I don't want any of that. But you can't. I mean, we asked him, like, you can't keep doing that. I mean, he said we're thinking of ways to adjust and evolve the franchise. But what is that? I don't know what that means.
Well, did you see? I mean, there was this one shot at the end where you see Mega Man standing up and Yellow Devil, the big rock monster guy, appears, right? So it appears that either the single-player mode will suck in characters from these franchises and mix it up more, because the last game was more generic, right? The single-player, like, your enemies were generic, so maybe they're doing a little bit more of a themed approach, bringing that in more.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Brawl's single-player was junk. I remember sitting at the IGN LA offices watching the guys unlock everything. And when I got it at my apartment, I let my roommate unlock everything and play the single player because I didn't want anything to do with it. I hate the single player.
I mean, to me, I still had fun playing it, the multiplayer, but it was kind of like a chore, and the rewards were the unlockable.
Well, you turned this this fighting game that doesn't rely on crisp platforming and like adventure mechanics into an adventure game, and things are hitting you from off the stage, and you're just flying off the screen. You're like, what?
I agree. That's why the target stages were so much better, right? Because there's specific puzzles within a certain level, and
that
you
was
had to
way,
do it. Yeah,
way
that was
more
good
fun.
stuff. The single player was really loose. Yeah, I agree.
But now, Smash Brothers isn't coming until next year.
Yeah, we don't, and we have actually no idea. It's like 2014, whatever that means. And like, honestly, that's probably like holiday
that's gotta be
2014.
Christmas.
Yeah. November, next November. I mean, at a guess. I mean, Brawl did launch in like a March or April timeframe, I think, a few years back. But Sakurai likes putting a lot into his games, the creator and director of the game, or producer, I think. It's going to be done when it's ready. And
I think we have a couple Twitter questions. Can we pull one up over here? Yeah. Remember, you can tweet your questions at IGN. I think we've changed the hashtag, though. We're using E3 2013 now.
I don't believe that. That sounds like crazy lies. crazy.
Fill this stage.
It is coming in. I've got my one. This is Nick Hickman.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Thanks. Do you think Retro doing a side-scroller is a serious letdown for the Wii U, saying, as we just had Mario U?
All right, let's dial it back a second.
Okay.
Not everybody's into Nick here.
Let's give the context.
Retro.
Yes.
We thought they were working on.
Well, we were wondering what they're working on because we haven't seen anything since Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii. And that was a fantastic game, that we should note that. Fantastic game. I think we gave it a 9 here on IGN. Just got re-released on 3DS less than a month ago. So I think the common assumption was maybe Metroid. They did the Metroid Prime trilogy back on Wii and GameCube. So let's get Metroid. A little disappointing because it's like, they've already done Metroid. I know what that is, but Metroid,
the question is this a one-game team? Retro lost a lot of talent, but they also hired a bunch of people, right? Are they working on a single team? We heard leading up to this event a bunch of different rumors. One was they're actually working on a new title that you haven't seen before. One was they're working on Metroid. There was an older rumor working on a Zelda game, and then there were some rumors that they might be reprising Donkey Kong, right?
And the
truth is now it is Donkey Kong Country.
Tropical Freeze.
Tropical Freeze.
It sounds like a delicious drink.
Look, sounds like global warming.
Look,
sounds like a drink.
I have no doubt, and this is sort of my feeling about the overall Direct. I have no doubt this game will be good. The last one was good. The 3DS port was great. I don't want that game right now. I've already got a 2D Mario game at the launch of Wii U. I have a 2DS, 3DS Mario game coming in December. that's not what I want right now. And that was actually sort of my reaction to 3D World too. Was like, that's a good game, but I want my Galaxy game. So I just,
to me, it's less about like I don't want that game. It's like
Not right
played
now.
that game.
Is it a
Just
psychological thing because you think of it as a 3DS game?
a little bit. I mean, this is the weird thing about this Direct is I felt like I was watching their strategy for 3DS unfold on Wii U. It's like, well, 3D Land and Mario Kart 7 worked really well in 3DS.
Yeah.
Here's Mario Kart 8, and here's 3D World, and I'm like,
You know, and if you think about it, right, if they're going after more of a family audience market this holiday season, which makes sense, right, in the face of these new consoles that are very powerful, they are more powerful than the Wii U, there's no question about it. They are more expensive than the Wii U as well. You know, they're probably dipping into the goodwill and the, you know, the love for these franchises that kids and others are playing on the 3DS right now. And so Donkey Kong makes a lot of sense. It's a huge franchise. The game looks great, right?
Yeah.
Like all the little Rube Goldberg contraptions. Retro knows what they're doing with
gorgeous.
it.
You know,
I love the new camera angle too, where it goes around. So I think it'll be good, but it's like, we want something new. We wanted something that sells us on the Wii U.
And it's not even just we. I think the sort of Nintendo core of the faithful, the ones that do, you know, I think many of which have still not bought into Wii U, wanted something else. I think we wanted Metroid. I mean, we wanted Metroid.
Wii U Party isn't going to do it.
No.
No, you know, and the casual games looked really this time around because they didn't show us anything that we hadn't seen in past party titles. I thought X looked amazing. You know, the Xenosaga-like game looks really beautiful, the open world and everything.
2014.
So, that's also next year, though.
All right, time for a quick break. Stick around. We're going to put Rich in the Speed Stick Handle It hot seat when we get back.
I've been waiting for the dryer for like forever. That's it. I'm just gonna unload their clothes. I don't care if they get wrinkled.
What are you doing?
And now I look like a huge perv.
Sweating on the inside? Handle it on the outside with new Speed Stick Power.
I was just gonna fold your clothes for you so they wouldn't get wrinkled.
That's so sweet of you.
I'd fold your panties any day.
What?
What?
Speed Stick. Don't sweat it. Handle it.
E3 2013. The Handle It hot seat.
Yeah, Wind Waker too, maybe.
All right, Rich, it's time to put you in the Speed Stick Handle It hot seat.
Sweet.
Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm bracing for impact.
Check this out. Yesterday was day 0 of E3 2013.
Yes, indeed.
Huge day.
Yeah.
Press conferences from Microsoft, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, and Sony.
Yeah.
It was all about next gen.
Yeah.
Next gen game releases, console release windows, prices, next gen.
Sure.
Nintendo wasn't mentioned once the entire day, I don't think.
We caught like a glimpse of a Wii U
During
game.
Just Dance.
we were like,
Just Dance,
we were
there was
like
a Wii U
cameo.
The Ubisoft one.
This year, 2 new consoles will be released, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. And today we got sort of a strange Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
So the question is, where does Nintendo fit into the landscape today?
They have a console that is priced way too close to the PlayStation 4. They
$50 left.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, we are going to a media showcase later today where there might be a couple little things I don't know. That is my question. Like that was what the Nintendo Direct needed to prove, and I don't think they proved it. You know, I was waiting to see the Mario game that would prove why Wii U exists. Didn't really see that. Retro is not working on something that would really pull in the core gamers. You know, they're working on what presumably is a really good Donkey Kong game. I don't think that's enough. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do. I think they are going to hit a family-friendly angle, which, you know, things like Titanfall and Killzone are not going to really do. So,
and the high cost, of course, of having Xbox Live and an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4.
But the fact remains that a Wii U is about $50, within $50 of a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And that is really, in my mind, that is really hard to overcome, especially when you can barely message why Wii U is worth it.
It's ironic, right? The arguments that Sony made, the big kind of red wedding scene at the end of the conference, where they took Microsoft to task, Nintendo could do the same thing. It's like there are no used game fees. You can trade your games with anyone unless you download them on from the store,
Yeah.
and you don't pay a fee to play online, which is now Wii U and 3DS are the only places where you can do that, because the PlayStation 4 you have to pay online, right? That's great messaging that I think if Nintendo got it out to consumers and also to families in some way, it would help state their case, right?
Is like that all absolutely, I agree with that, but you can't get to that point without explaining what your console is in the first place. And I still am not quite sure what this thing is. Like and I've been messing with this thing since it came out, and to me, it's kind of like a prettier but slightly inferior version of the 3DS. I play my 3DS every single day. I play Animal Crossing every single day for hours. I don't know what I'm doing with my Wii U. I don't have any games for it, for one thing, but I'm still just not quite sure how it differs. You look at even the Virtual Console, you apparently have Game Boy Advance games coming to Wii U, not my 3DS. Like, and this is, I think, where Nintendo needed that press conference. Tell me your vision, tell me your strategy, tell me why this thing exists and why I care. Even if and some of it is just words, but at least let me understand it better, because I don't.
Do you think that maybe that vision isn't clear at Nintendo? And
I
that's
don't
why
think they know.
They didn't do a press conference? Is they looked at their lineup and said, hey, let's not make too big of a deal of something when we're in a bad place, and maybe next year we'll have a better story?
I hope they have a story. I mean, I think they would need a story. To me, when you come out with something so innovative and different like a Wii U, you better have your story straight, and you better know what kind of games you're going to make for it. And what's weird to me is that I'm seeing basically sequels to 3DS games coming out on Wii U.
Right.
And it's like, guys, were you just not ready? Or you guys, I mean, are you struggling? I mean, everyone, we know back in like 2005, 2006, every developer, every publisher was struggling with HD development. And for Nintendo just to be doing 3D World and Mario Kart 8 feels like maybe we're just looking at, they're not quite sure what to do. They're still wrestling with this.
It seemed like to me, watching the Direct, right, that this was really, you're talking about what was their plan and what is the Wii U. It seemed like they were solidifying that the Wii U is where you come for great Nintendo exclusives and nothing else. They showed that third-party reel, right, and it was like, okay, Assassin's Creed and Deus Ex and Batman, and then it was kind of like, that's where our support kind of peters out.
It was the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 lineup, basically, right?
Yeah.
Minus a whole bunch of titles.
Minus about 80 games.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so that's exactly it, right? Nintendo consoles have always been about Nintendo games. Let's be honest. They've been kind of fluke successes, like a Carnival game from 2K, or obviously Sega has seen great success with Sonic, which is very Mario-like, right?
Yeah.
But overall, there's a certain experience on these consoles, and it's hard to kind of shoehorn them into something they're not, right? You buy a Wii U because you love Mario, you love Zelda, you love Metroid, you love Animal Crossing, and that's what you get.
And I think it's probably important to note that this lineup will be, I'm quite certain, very good games, right? I mean, I think I will enjoy all of these games tremendously. I don't know that they convince me of why I would have a Wii U if I'm like a general consumer. The other thing is if you're within the entire Nintendo ecosystem, so if you have a 3DS and a Wii U, you've got a really amazing year coming up with, 3DS has Mario Golf coming, it's got Mario and Luigi Dream Team, it's got Pokemon XY, something we haven't actually talked about is Link to the Past 2, which just got a new name. And then on the Wii U side, it's Pikmin, it's Wonderful 101.
And Luigi as well, the downloadable, right?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So if you have both, and you were buying into both and buying both games readily, you've got a lot of really good stuff. But like you said, it's sort of the Nintendo system. It's the Nintendo little family here. And if you're someone just saying, maybe I will get a Wii U, maybe I'm really disillusioned with what Microsoft is doing, maybe I haven't seen the games I want from Sony, or I'm waiting $500, $400 systems, maybe I'm waiting a little bit. I still am not quite sure why I would just get a Wii U out of the blue. I think, to me, if I'm a Nintendo fan, I have to have Wii U and 3DS, which is sort of weird. So I actually feel like the two systems should be playing together more to reinforce each other's weaknesses and strengths more.
Right.
There should be no reason why I download a Virtual Console game on Wii U and I can't play it on my 3DS. They're talking SNES games here.
Yeah, it almost feels like the next console needs to be the handheld and the console tethered, right?
Yeah.
Like the small screen needs to be.
And they've made announcements such that the hardware teams that used to plan handhelds and consoles separately are now going to talk to each other.
All right, well, that's good.
Innovation, guys.
Groundbreaking.
It's weird.
Per, thank you for joining us. I know you're a very busy guy.
Thank you.
We'll let you go.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to bring in Keza here in just a second. But we have another we have another Twitter question we can bring up over here. On the screen, this is Alfred Sterfone III.
Wow.
I was honestly surprised that there was no sneak peek for Zelda U. What about you guys? What do you think, Rich? Were you expecting that?
I was not really surprised, to be perfectly honest. I feel like in the January Nintendo Direct, they were just like, we're still working on it. So,
it'll be here one day.
Yeah, and I mean, so when you go at that, I mean, I'm just like, okay, and they showed more Wind Waker footage. I was a little surprised that when they're talking about Wind Waker, they couldn't even commit to like, here's what we've changed about Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Like, guys, the game comes out in like 3 months. Like, just tell us. Like, it's okay. Like, tell us your secrets. It's E3. That's when you do it. Because I'm wondering, like with Wind Waker, there are notoriously 2 dungeons that were cut from the final game because they needed to get the game out. Are those coming back? Like, that would be amazing to add a couple extra dungeons in there. The only thing I could pick up from the gameplay outside of the Tingle Tuner, which allows you to send messaged bottles to Miiverse and they come into your
Grandma's
island.
smile.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a really awesome use of Miiverse. But the only other thing they said, well, actually, you had to pick it up from the footage. They didn't even acknowledge it, but you can speed up the boat by pressing like A.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the boat goes faster. But it's like, why do I really want Wind Waker? I don't know yet. And they're like, we will tell you soon. Well, guys,
it wasn't
E3.
this at the time?
I know.
Yeah,
wouldn't this be now? Like, do it now.
Here's the thing about Wind Waker. When I was watching it, I turned to Damon and said something, and then Keza McDonald stole it somehow and put it on Twitter because we apparently share the same. Hey, Keza, thanks for coming.
Hi.
What did you say when you saw, or what did you tweet? What did you steal from my mouth?
It looked like it looked in my mind.
Right.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, you're telling me Wind Waker didn't look like this all the time? Like, this is what I've always thought about
I went back to Wind Waker because when they first started showing footage of that game and started showing screenshots, I was like, it doesn't look that different. But then I went back and actually played it. It looks a lot different. Just because of the art style, your mind just like upscales it. So I mean, I think it looks gorgeous. It's really beautiful game. It was then. It will be again. But again, why didn't they tell us, are they going to put in those dungeons? That would be amazing. Imagine getting a director's cut of that with those dungeons back in place.
Or removing that stupid like Triforce fetch quest where you're like just sailing around aimlessly on the map.
Which they put in to replace those dungeons.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's the point of a director's cut, right? That's, for me, is what an HD remake should be, is the game it ought to have been originally. So if there's any chance of that happening, I want to know about it. And why don't I know about it now?
Yeah, just say the dungeons are coming. I don't need to see them. I'm sure you're still making them. That's okay. Just tell me. Like, it's okay. I will cope with the knowledge of why I should buy Wind Waker HD.
Keza, what did you think of the Nintendo Direct as a whole?
I thought it was very safe, a little bit too safe. And I thought, the thing is, I don't think Nintendo was ever in this fight, right? This next-gen fight. I don't think it was ever really there. It was never really positioning itself there. But
they have a different kind of fight.
Yeah, that's it. And if it wasn't clear to anybody that Nintendo's not in the same competition, then it is now. But equally, I think that Nintendo really needs to win over fans, because I think Wii U is going to be a secondary console for most of us, right? It's going to be the thing I buy in addition to my other one.
It's what you buy for the Nintendo exclusives,
right?
Totally. For that Mario game.
And so the thing is, if they're going to persuade people who are Nintendo fans to buy it as a second console, then they need to show more, I think, than what we've seen. I'm sure it's all coming, but come on, guys, we're in the second year now.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? If it's a Nintendo box, show me why Nintendo has sort of been able to become that kind of publisher where you are willing to spend $300 on a box just to play one company's games. So show me those games that make me think that. Show me, that's why I keep saying this, but it's like, and you're exactly right, it was really, really safe. For whatever reason, it was safe, and I'm not sure why. Was it just you didn't have the ideas ready, or it's just taking too long because you're just not used to HD development, or maybe, I really hope this isn't the case, maybe you just don't have those ideas yet, which is kind of scary if you put a console out into the world and you're like, we'll figure it out along the way.
It seems like there's slow starters, right? This and then the 3DS.
3DS had an extremely slow start.
You and I had this conversation at E3 2 years ago, where they came out and they announced Mario Kart and they announced the Mario game, and I was like, all right, I will buy a 3DS when that price drop happens. Now I'm saying the same thing about Wii U. It is my secondary console, but at $350, that's not a secondary console price.
That's almost the same price as a PlayStation 4, right? Which is insane when you consider the gulf in capabilities.
What they're going to be able to do.
I think the other thing that's important to note is last year, Nintendo saved all the good stuff for after E3. They came out, showed Nintendo Land for like 2 hours, and then it was like, oh, by the way, 3DS XL, and here's some new games. We were like, what?
So the Smash Brothers details came 2 weeks after E3. It's like, what?
And this, I think you were mentioning this earlier, but I think this is indicative of Nintendo's trying to control the news agenda. They're like, E3's happening. We don't need to be in that. We'll do some stuff at E3, but what we're going to do is come out and save our good stuff for later, which is really interesting, and I don't know if it works.
I'm glad you have that faith. I'm a little concerned right now. I think the other trick they had was, and they kind of did this last year, and it worked against them. In January, they told us Wind Waker HD. They told us, we knew Mario Kart would be here. We knew the new Mario game would be here, and we did get to see the first footage. But we also, you inherently, when you know these things are coming, you go, oh, what's the other stuff that you're bringing? you're telling me this now. That must mean you have something really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
where's that? And I
Where's
mean,
Metroid?
yeah,
I
where's?
was so hoping for Metroid.
I think the Donkey Kong news was most crushing. I think people
Crushing.
are
Wow.
well, like
Your
because
spirits, you were ready for something great, and then bam.
No, seriously, because like everyone was like, Retro's totally working on this like good core adventure that I really, really want. Not the 2D platformer, which is fine, which is good, but we just had that at the launch of the Wii U. They're not working on that. They're working on like Metroid. And maybe they are, but that's what I want to see.
What if I told you there's a new Pokemon and it's a fairy? How about that? Would
That's
that
on
get you
3DS, Greg.
Pokemon X. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to give
He's
you
just
something
trying to
here.
help.
What if I told you Bayonetta 2's coming and she's got a ponytail? Her hair looks real short.
She got a makeover. She
Yeah.
changed her hairstyle.
Yeah, she
Bayonetta looks like Bayonetta. I love Bayonetta to
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
I can't believe that game exists. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that game exists.
I want to play that game, but it feels very out of place in that Nintendo Direct.
Especially
right?
the opening shot.
Yeah, right. It's just
Quite out of place. Not
one of these things is not like the other.
I mean, it's Platinum is giving a couple really, really good games to Wii U, which is great, and I'm glad that something like Bayonetta 2 is finding a home. That's cool. Same thing with like Wonderful 101, which has no real place in modern sort of gaming, but like I will gladly take that kind of quirky, bizarro.
It's sad if it doesn't have a place in modern gaming.
I know it is. I agree with you. It is
Yeah.
sad, but at the same time, like if you're not a war shooter, like
I mean,
people
is Bayonetta the bone to the hardcore gamers? To stay with us. You are getting these Nintendo.
I think we care more, Nintendo
Yeah.
hardcore gamers anyway, care more about, Zelda, Mario, etc.,
Yeah.
than they do about Bayonetta. Bayonetta's a nice thing to have in addition to those. I'll tell you what did look excellent. X.
Yeah, X. Yeah, again,
I like the look of X.
X looks fantastic. It's like this open world sort of RPG type thing. They still won't say that it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is driving me
Clearly is
insane.
that.
It's obvious, same team, same everything. I love the idea of being able to hop in mechs and fly through this world. I mean, it looks gorgeous.
The monsters look very cool.
Monsters.
It's got transforming mechs that become Land Rover car tank things.
Yeah.
Always good.
Oh, it looks
It
fantastic.
looked like a good Final Fantasy. Like one of the better Final Fantasies.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy before Final Fantasy lost its mind.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say.
But yeah, I mean, that's the Wii thing, right? So X we're looking forward to, 2014. Mario Kart we're looking forward to, 2014. Smash Brothers, 2014. Also, Bayonetta 2, 2014. What am I playing in 2013 again?
You're playing the waiting game.
Cat
When's that
Mario?
price drop coming?
I know.
Also, this second Christmas is really crucial for Nintendo, I think.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm not seeing the thing. I'm not seeing the thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be like, no, okay, we're here now. We're here now. We had a rough year, but we're here now. Not seeing it yet.
I see a lot of
It's
really strong games that will be really good. I see a lot of really safe games that remind me of things that I just played on 3DS about a year ago. But I'm not seeing the games that necessarily go, that is why this system is here.
There are
Again,
a lot
where's
of-
the Miyamoto game?
A lot of fun things coming to the eShop. Those aren't system sellers, but
They're cool. I mean, like Nintendo is real, and this is one of the things I think is really, really cool about, particularly NOA is where this is being driven, but just Nintendo in general. They're really embracing that indie development scene. A lot of really, really cool indie games, digital games coming to eShop. There seem to be like a good couple every week, every other week or so. And it's certainly not the volume of, say, something like iOS, but it's cool. Like there's some really good stuff on there. So.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we get back, we're going to answer your Twitter questions. Stick around.
Let's go back to your place.
Oh no! If she finds out I still live with my parents, it's over!
Sweating on the inside? Handle it on the outside with new Speed Stick Power.
Oh, this is just my butler. Your milk, sir?
Speed Stick, don't sweat it, handle it.
May I take your coat, miss?
E3 2013. Post show.
Welcome back, my Koopalings. Let's go to Twitter. Hector writes in, he says, with most games announced till next year, will people care enough to support Nintendo Wii U?
That's what we've been talking about.
This is a $1 million question we've been talking about for a while here.
When are the Wii U's going to start flying off shelves?
I think at this point, just looking at this lineup, I think you probably are going to need a price cut, especially just because Sony is bold enough to go $399. Like that, when they did that yesterday, the first thought was, oh my God, I can't wait to buy one. And then the second thing, like about 15 minutes later, I think someone else said it. When it clicked, I'm like, what will Nintendo do? Because I think maybe their strategic planning was $499. When Microsoft announced that, I think everyone at Nintendo was like, yep. And so you expect that, and then you become quickly the low price alternative at a nice cheap $349, or and it's like that's a lot of money, but that's still cheaper compared to everything else. So I think you need a price cut. and I think you need Smash Brothers and Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So I think we're now yet again sort of kicking the ball down the field a little bit and going, okay, well, 2014. That's when this.
For this year, though, what would it take? I mean, what would it take to buy a Wii U this Christmas?
I think Mario will do okay.
For me, I mean, as somebody who doesn't own a Wii U, it's the price drop and then the Mario. I was watching it when I saw the cat suit. I'm like, that is adorable. Yes, I will.
The cat thing is awesome, and playing as the cat is hilarious. You can actually, so it's got the flagpoles to signify the end of the level, and you can literally just scamper up.
Well, that was the thing. I was watching. I'm like, kind of like a win button here because there's like all these platforms. It's like, I'll just climb the wall.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you
can those platforms.
You can climb walls too, just in general. Like, and you use it to find secrets and that sort of thing. I mean, there's a lot of cleverness in there. And again, even when I say I'm slightly disappointed by this, that does not discourage me from the fact that that game was going to be awesome, and I'm going to love the hell out of Cat Mario.
Yeah.
And it's 4 players, and I got to play as Princess Peach, and she's floating around. I'm like, oh man, this is like Mario 2. Where are my vegetables?
Yeah. But I understand because I didn't play. I had skipped out on Super Mario 3D Land.
Sure.
So like that's why looking at it now, I don't have that recent like I already played this.
No, so for you, it's going to be even a more fresh experience. I am a little curious that 3D Land was designed to take advantage of the 3DS's 3D stereoscopic 3D.
You said 3D a lot.
I know, a lot of 3Ds in there. Because you turn up the depth slider and you could kind of judge the distance a little better. You don't have that here, so I did find myself missing some jumps here and there. I mean, you kind of get it pushed back
so
to like
broken. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'll
Broken
be okay. That's why you have Cat Mario.
Yeah, that's why you have Cat Mario.
You don't jump.
Oh no, it's not. That's regular Mario. Get out of here, regular Mario. Scat.
You're not a cat. We don't want you.
I was really surprised that Nintendo made a couple other announcements today outside of their Nintendo Direct. Right? They announced the name of the new Link to the Past.
Yeah. So Link to the Past 2, which is sort of a temporary name, is called A Link Between Worlds.
Why didn't they even mention that in their Direct?
This is it. Why wasn't that there? That would have been such an excellent fan pleaser.
It was funny because I was mentally sort of preparing for, okay, your Pokemon news, your Zelda news, that'll come later. But then they started off with Pokemon. I'm like, wait, all right. So, I mean, Link to the Past 2 looks gorgeous. This is the new trailer you guys are seeing up right now. They just released it on YouTube. Again, it's clearly based off of Link to the Past world, but you can turn into a little hieroglyph and shimmy between walls.
Like Sideway, New York.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I got. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it looks great.
The thing that gets me about this is I've wanted another Zelda like Link to the Past in that it's just kind of open world. It just kind of lets you go. It doesn't sequentially go here and then get item and then another bit unlocks. It's all just there.
Yep.
That seems to be the vibe here.
Yeah, and we got to play this at a 3DS showcase a couple months ago, and it was really, really, really good. I mean, it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to return to that top-down Zelda. I've wanted that back. And I mean, the DS ones were sort of top-down, but I didn't really like the controls very much. I wasn't a fan of that sort of change.
Touch to go here.
Yeah, and this is much more just like classic Zelda. I was like, yes, thank you.
And the other announcement that happened outside of the Direct was Yoshi's New Island.
Yeah, so we knew that was coming, but we hadn't really seen a lot of
Yoshi?
it. No, this isn't Yarn Yoshi. Yarn Yoshi is for Wii U, which we didn't see at all.
I didn't see that. That was strange. Where was that?
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But here we go. You can see it on screen there, and Yoshi's swallowing a giant Shy Guy, and now it's a giant egg. Looks gorgeous. Again, it's funny because the 3DS is so good right now.
The 3DS is ridiculously good right now.
So good. And here's
Pokemon,
another.
my God.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked about Pokemon yet.
That's what I was
mean,
saying.
Pokemon X, Pokemon Y,
Which
Fairies.
I thought those were already out. Like I can't keep up with all the Pokemon.
I mean, they're almost getting to an annual release at this point. I mean, we're really close to it, I think.
The little Nintendo Z style, pet your little Pokemon, feed your little Pokemon, make ridiculous
Pokemon
faces at your
on me.
Pokemon.
Yeah, which is like some sub-feature of Pokemon XY. I don't really need that, whatever, it's a big deal. But I mean, I'm super excited.
If you were a 10-year-old girl, you'd think that was the best thing ever announced.
If I was.
Is it word, Greg?
If I was. Also, if I was a 10-year-old girl, I'd be really excited that
I wish I had like a muffin just hold up to you.
I'll be your Pokemon every day.
Yes, 18th
He's
type.
super effective.
Fairy type introduced here, now with ribbons and swirly things and lots of pink.
Strong against dragons.
It's strong against dragons. Dragons traditionally, for the Pokemon experts out there, have only had, I think it's like 2 weaknesses, ice and I want to say dragon, actually. So now there's another weakness to dragons.
What I can't imagine myself doing, I can imagine this being fun for about 5 seconds. What I can't imagine myself doing is actually, because it's like, open your mouth, do silly face in front of your Pokemon. I'm not going to sit there on the bus.
You don't want to do that on the plane?
You don't, but
I will
kids
look
don't
even
wanna do
more
that.
like a crazy person. I'm not sure that's the best idea.
It's important to note that Pokemon XY actually has a spotlight panel tonight. So
That's right,
I
that'll be
assume
new.
there'll be more. And we
I
got
want to see more of the world. I want to see more of that
agree.
kind of neo-France, Paris-y, sci-fi world that they've got going on. Because Pokemon's, it doesn't get much appreciation for this, but its world building is great.
You were talking about how, you know, it's becoming almost annualized. Are you burning out on it? Like, do you think you're starting?
I keep thinking that, and then I'm like, oh, maybe the next Pokemon game.
I mean, I took 5 years off Pokemon, and then I came back for Black and White and really, really loved it.
Yeah.
But I took it ever since Ruby and Sapphire. I was like, I'm just going to leave that.
I think for a lot of fans, that does make a lot of sense to take a little bit of time off. I think what pulls me in for Pokemon XY and is the 3D. It's full 3D, it's full 3D levels, worlds. That's going to be really cool. So far, from some of the early footage I've seen, it looks a little too simplistic for my taste on some of the area designs, but then some of them look absolutely fantastic.
Plus, you can ride around on a Pokemon, which is really what you've been dreaming about.
No, what I've been dreaming about is that little fighting panda that's this like little badass that just like goes and brawls with people. That thing looks amazing. I don't know what its name is, but I'm just gonna call it Awesome Panda and be done with it.
Wow,
Awesome Panda.
I'm naming the Pokemon now Awesome Panda.
Rich, what happens next? Nintendo's having a showcase at their booth on the show floor.
Yeah, so Keza and I are about to head off pretty shortly here to go to the Nintendo Wii U showcase, which may have some 3DS stuff too. Who knows? I'm not.
Nintendo.
It all is just sort of
It's gonna
crazy.
be new Wii U model, Wii U price drop, all that stuff.
Nintendo's throwing all the rules out the door. So when they say Wii U showcase, they actually mean Wii U and 3DS. When they say Wii U Nintendo Direct, they're going to start with the 3DS game.
Whatever the hell we want direct.
Yeah, exactly. So they have the media showcase. There is some sort of short presentation by Mr. Miyamoto and Reggie. Whether that has some news or not, I'm not quite sure.
I hope they do a comedy skit. I hope they do like an odd couple.
They do enjoy their
sitcom-style
comedy
thing.
skits.
They
Who's
do
on
enjoy
first?
those.
Yes, that would be great. Although I have to say, when Iwata and Miyamoto appeared in sort of that Luigi skit in one of the Nintendo Directs in the spring, that was pretty priceless,
That was
actually.
terribly sweet.
Yeah, I mean, Miyamoto was just coming along in the vacuum, and Iwata's like, "What are you doing?"
I imagine like someone asking Iwata, like, "Oh, so what's your DRM policy?" and him being like, "Huh? DRM?"
Yeah. So they have the media showcase. We've actually got a bunch of interviews coming throughout the week. I'm actually talking to Iwata himself, and so we'll be able to kind of, you're asking me what's their role in next gen. I think I might ask Iwata that too.
Yeah.
So then there's a Pokemon XY spotlight
gen?
tonight. yeah, exactly.
Rich and Keza, thank you very much
Yep, sure.
for joining us today. I know you guys have to get off to the showcase, so let us know what's cool, what's
will.
what. We have another Twitter question we're going to bring up right over here, Greg. Look over there.
But I don't want to say goodbye to Rich and Kez.
They're gone. They're already gone.
Oh my god.
Patrick Frederick asks, can we expect a price drop from the Wii U anytime soon?
Gosh darn
Like
it,
we were
Damon.
saying, I think that's got to happen
That's
now.
got to happen. You hope for it. Like, that's what I'm waiting for, to get on board, to finally get one in here. You have to imagine, right? Like, that's got to be there.
It's only $50 cheaper than a PlayStation 4.
Right. The true next gen, or whatever, the real. We've talked forever that, is Wii U this weird step between what's current gen now, what's going to be next gen? It seems like, seems like it pretty much is. Even though you are getting, Assassin's Creed 4, you're getting Watch Dogs, those are already games that are coming to PS3. We've already seen those games from Xbox 360 get ported to the Wii U.
Yeah.
And they're fine, they work. Batman, Assassin's Creed 3. But what would make you compel you to buy that, knowing now that PlayStation 4 is there for $50 more?
Fran, what do you think?
Hello.
Will there be a Wii U price drop imminent?
Frederick's asking on Twitter. Hashtag E3.
Frederick was asking this.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this, and I don't see how they can't do it. There's no way to have the quality of the consoles that are coming out at the end of this year. And look, they have a pretty good lineup coming. Some thoughts on that, but they can't be selling it for $349 when the PS4 is like $50 away from it. I just don't see the value in it. And they need to be super competitive right now, and I think that's their advantage. They built a console that can be sold for less.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing if they got a version down to $199, but I think $249 at least is throwing us a bone, so we'll see.
What did you think of Nintendo's presentation today?
Yeah, I walked into it with a lot of different expectations. I've seen 14 of their shows now, everything from, the Pac-Man Versus days to, the Wind Waker unveils, and they've had, a lot of ups and downs. And this, to me, was actually a really great show.
Great.
Now, again, I had very high expectations. No Metroid Prime, are you kidding me? I was so wanting that. Everyone who follows me, I love Metroid, so I'm a little biased there. But really disappointing, actually, to have a studio like Retro that they've lost talent to companies like 343 and other places. I don't know why Nintendo didn't make that the one house that could just make these hardcore games for gamers, that really beautiful fidelity and stuff like that. So that was a disappointment. But now moving past that, Mario Kart looks great.
Yep.
Super Mario 3D World looks like tons of fun. Again, expectation-wise, I wanted Super Mario Universe or whatever came after
wanted the Galaxy follow-up, yeah.
And they start, I'm sure Rich was talking about this, they start on like the little, circle on his face, you're like, and it's like isometric, and you're like, oh, like, are you teasing me that there's another version out there? So that was, also a bit of love and hate, right? Like, looks awesome. I have nephews and just friends like you guys that like playing those games are tons of fun.
Yeah.
Was Smash Brothers the biggest announcement?
Yeah, I mean, Smash Brothers for me
Thank
was,
you.
Yeah.
Suck it, pair.
Well, wait. So you're asking me, out of everything that they did today, was it the biggest? Yeah, I mean, it's the one that's going to resonate the most.
With us, with our audience.
With
for sure.
us, and I think a lot of people they're the people who are going to buy more than one game on the Wii U. So I think definitely huge. And for me, it was the biggest thing there. But I do think Mario Kart looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys already talked a bit about that. But man, actually that exceeded my expectations. I've been so used to seeing
Smash Brothers or
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
So I guess
all I want from Mario Kart is to come out and be super competent online. And work and have an online ranking system, leaderboard, friends that we can play each other and do all this stuff. Because that was like, I'm such a Mario
Ghost
Kart
racing.
fan. Yeah, and such a kart racing fan that when I picked up Mario Kart 7 on 3DS and started playing, people were, Audrey was talking about it and this, that, and the other. And I expected to get in and have this seamless experience with the IGN community because we had a community built and everything. And you jumped in, and it immediately stumbled out of the gate. It wasn't like totally clear how to do things and how to interact. I just wanted to be told all the time, like autolog for Mario Kart.
Yeah, I think exactly. Like that's my expectation is that they finally get it right. It could really offer a ton of value and get a lot of people playing with their friends over the Miiverse system and all that. So I'm with you on that one.
All right.
Well, it remains to be seen. They have not been able to pull off sort of these, companies like Microsoft have built infrastructures that are amazing for online.
Yeah.
And it's taken a lot of lessons, right? And they've learned over time. And Nintendo's just getting there, so I think this is a chance to hopefully, come out strong, learn a few lessons, but hopefully it comes out and looks good.
What do you think of Mega Man and Smash Brothers?
Mega Man.
This is my big thing. I brought a little list.
They brought a list.
Smash Brothers.
Oh, he put Smash Brothers at the top. That's how you know.
I was trying to get him to talk about Smash Brothers, and he goes,
the
Mario Kart.
They're chirping in your ear like
friends.
We've
got the B-roll for Smash Brothers loaded up.
You can't not let me talk about some of the other stuff first. But would love to talk about Smash Brothers. So, I mean, how cool is Mega Man? I'm sure you guys have already. Do you agree, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
All the powers.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest things that I started to annoyingly do as soon as we saw it. I'm like, okay, start pausing because they started throwing in a power and then the shot, a power and the shot, and there's a lot of powers in there.
Yeah. How do you think it's going to work? Rich was talking about maybe before the match you load up 3, and that's how many you have to use as far from Robot Masters.
Sure, you don't just have 20 different arms.
Big old OP Mega Man.
How do you switch through?
So it's probably going to be similar to Pokemon Trainer, where you can switch into different versions and modes. So I think that was done with the D-pad down separately or something, right? Actually, I'm forgetting.
Similar
Sorry,
to
I don't
Toro
use
in
Pokemon
PlayStation
Trainer now,
All-Stars.
but you guys know the answer.
Remember that one, everybody?
Post it in the comments. But I think you can change maybe into certain modes with him, and like you're saying, you'll have access to 3 or 4. Maybe there's some power-up system that comes in. I don't know. That I was surprised. That's the point. I was surprised by the powers. Like right now, right? Metal Blade. And as you go through and watch this, it starts showing a lot. And
it seemed violent.
I know. Right?
You never think about it.
He lost his coins.
Yeah. But if anyone's ever seen our Smash Brothers Extreme April Fools from back in the day, I thought he gets his head lopped off in our shot, so you can get it there. But anyway, I think Mega Man looks really powerful and really cool, and everybody's going to want to play him. So they have some work to do on the other characters too there to make them. Like Mega Man just looks so cool.
Yeah.
So
first HD Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, right?
So that was a huge expectation for me as well. It's a little tough watching the Nintendo Direct. We did get some of the assets, and I haven't been able to look at them. I don't know if we have 60 frames a second, right? But it's pretty important to see it in full HD. What we're watching looks pretty nice. But
I don't know.
Well, that's CG that was just pumping through there. But the backgrounds, I actually thought they would do a lot more. So I will say that it looks awesome. They've up-res. The animation.
A short early look.
Yeah, the animation in these games are always outstanding. The gameplay is outstanding, so that's why you don't really need a bunch of nonsense in the background. But I do think with the power of Wii U, I just had a little more expectation. Kind of in the same way with, Nintendo, New Super Mario Brothers for Wii U. Like, right? The backgrounds just weren't quite what you thought they would be.
I see.
So,
This is
but it looks great.
the first time it's gone portable? For 3DS?
Yeah.
It
So
never came to the original DS, right?
Yeah, that's huge. And they didn't, as far as I'm aware, talk about any link up yet. I'm
No.
sure there's something there.
You'd hope so, right? At least an unlockable. I mean, that's such a big part of Smash, right? Is going through and getting everything. You'd imagine linking them up.
There has to be some cross-play there of some kind. What struck me about it was that it was cel-shaded, cartoon look. And that was an interesting choice. I don't understand it, to be quite honest. Like, why?
Rich was saying it because then you can get away with a lesser frame rate. You don't have to worry about making it look as
So that was what I was going to segue into. Is just the fidelity.
Rich beat you to it. Good having you on.
I'll just go. He covered everything. But yeah, I think it's a fidelity thing because right now I don't see a reason why the 3DS would need to look like that. It looks good though, and I think on a small screen it's going to look great. Again, it really comes down to animation, the collision detection, how it feels, how fast it moves. So honestly, as they keep it moving fast on the 3DS and playable, I think it looks great.
Do you think Villager is going to become the most popular character? You're sold on Mega Man because he's got blades.
No, he's not going to be more popular than Mega Man.
He's got a shovel, Damon, and a net.
Yeah, so many people play Lucas and Ness. I think he's going to be that type of character. He's so quirky, and he's going to have those moves that just come out of nowhere. Now they didn't show the move with the net, but it's in the shot where he
gets Mario.
He throws the net over Mario to kind of like when they're revealing his character, and I wonder if that's actually in the game as a.
Well, I like to smash attack was knocking the tree down on top of it.
Yeah,
and having get kicked out. That was awesome.
It's awesome. Like I play, everybody knows I play Princess Peach all the time. One because it annoys people.
That explains a lot.
No, it does not explain a lot. But I do it because nobody plays her, and she's just kind of an odd character pulling radishes out of the ground, and she's got some really great moves that are unexpected. I think Villager will be similar in that respect, and there will be a lot of fans that love her, him. Yeah.
I had one of his smash attacks as Tom Nook come in and like get you in massive debt, and you just cry.
Maybe he calls upon Mr. Rossetti, who shows up and resets the whole match. Right, that was when you were abusing the save system. They put Mr. Rossetti, and he's like, maybe they do something with that.
I asked Rich this earlier. With two new consoles launching this year, yesterday's loads of next-gen announcements and talk about everything that's coming. Where does Nintendo fit in to the landscape today?
Man, there's so much to process. Like, there's a lot of new IPs and a lot of new announcements. I will say that's where Nintendo's in a really weird spot that many years ago they said, we don't want to do cookie cutter. Words out of their own mouth.
Cookie cutter?
Cookie cutter games, cookie cutter experiences. And unfortunately, now there's many of these games that I love, but it's very cookie cutter. This was very expected, right? I feel, this is the jaded reporter and Nintendo fan in me that I feel like they got together last year and scrambled and said, like with Retro, for example, like, what could you do in a really short timeline? They're like, well, we could use what we did for Donkey Kong.
We have these assets.
Reuse it. We could do it for 3DS and Wii U. They're like, great, go. And not what would you like to do and think big, which a lot of these other companies are doing. I mean,
it's interesting you bring up the cookie cutter thing, right? Because they were saying that in the way that we don't want our box just to be another box to play every third-party game on, and now they've become that our box is the only place to play the same Mario game over and over and the same Donkey Kong game over and over.
I mean, for those just tuning in, I covered anyway. I think they had a great lineup. It looks good. The money I invested, me as a fan, I'm super happy. I'm getting what I want. I knew we'd get there, but competing in this landscape with what's going on with Xbox and Xbox One and PS4, I'd say it's a completely different path.
Yeah.
And I personally don't see it. I don't see how they can compete on that level. These are consoles that are going to last 7, 8, maybe 10 years. That's going to be hard to pull off, but I don't see how the Wii U can do that. It's just not as ambitious, and I don't know that between iOS and phone gaming and handheld, and then you have this amazing high fidelity stuff. They're like in the middle, and like games like Watch Dogs and Assassins. Like we knew Call of Duty didn't really sell last year. Nobody was playing it. They're in a really tough spot that, unfortunately, these games that we do love as Nintendo fans, you'll buy the system for, but I don't know that you'll get 100 million people to do that, right? Like, they're in a tricky situation where maybe they sell 30 million consoles, which would be very different than the Wii U, which sold amazingly well. But they have the price advantage, like you said before, too. So we'll see how the end of the year plays out. But I love Nintendo. I don't want to be misheard here. I really love these games that are coming out. I'm happy. I want to see more. I want to see the next Zelda. I want to see the true next 3D Mario. And I'm happy with the lineup now, but they have a ton of work to do to compete against what's going on with the others.
We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to take your Twitter questions. We'll see you in 30 seconds.
Right there! Right there!
Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. I've seen bigger. Oh, please don't bite me. Don't bite me. Ah, it bit me. It bit me. It bit me. Oh, it burns. What else you got?
Sweating on the inside? Handle it on the outside with the all-day power of new Speed Stick Power.
Maybe we should have used the vacuum.
Maybe.
New Speed Stick Power. Don't sweat it. Handle it.
E3 2013 Post Show.
Jim W. Boyd tweets at IGN #E3. Any Nintendo buybacks coming soon, you think? I.e. ambassador program.
What does this mean? What does that mean, buyback?
I'm not actually I don't actually fully understand that question, unfortunately. I think that's a rich question.
Well, no, what's the ambassadors program? Isn't it the
I've
one
not
where
participated in the ambassadors
you get the Mario coins and you get a hat? Audrey Drake's always doing this stuff.
Yeah, you do.
That's
do
Nintendo.
Get
That's
the
Club
Nintendo
Nintendo.
point system. Yeah, you do get exclusive stuff from them. I'm not sure what buybacks means though, so that's what lost me. I think we need another question, to be quite honest. Man, I'm really embarrassed as the old Nintendo guy up here, not being able to answer.
Hey, Damon and I got excuses.
Yeah.
I don't even own a Wii U.
I mean, you do. I mean, the Club Nintendo stuff, I think continues. I'm not 100% sure the buybacks.
What? I mean, how do you see Nintendo building their community out? When you're talking about how they can't compete with what's happening on PlayStation and on Xbox, I don't think they're trying to. But what I do see from next-gen Xbox One, PS4, is developers trying to get together and say, this is our community and this is how we unify everybody. And like Ted Price was on here and he had some interesting stuff to say about, making people into Insomniac fans rather than just PlayStation fans. Do you see that? Is Nintendo ever going to sort it out? Is that important to them to get on the Wii U a Nintendo community that thrives and grows and communicates?
Yeah, I mean, they wanted that, when they launched Miiverse and all those tools in it, but they were just diving into new waters there. I think they want that desperately. Who wouldn't? They're getting much bigger into the social network game, but I don't know what piece of it is going to do that yet, right?
Yeah.
Like I really do like some of the game help and the forums that are dedicated. Like they have some great ideas there. But they don't have the achievement and trophy system and stuff like that. So again, I just think they have work to do there.
Yeah.
We have one more Twitter question here before we go. Who is this one from? You're not going to know this one either. Elliot Altman asks, is Wii U worth a butt without a price drop? I think it means a buy.
That was verbatim.
Nope. Elliot wants to know, is it worth a butt? Yes, it is. I will give you all the butts for a price drop.
Right now, no. I mean, obviously, it's not selling super well at $350 with the games that are available right now. So no, I don't think it's there yet.
It's a perspective thing, right?
So, what do you think as the Nintendo fan?
Look, if you're talking about right now, I mean, you have no other choices for next gen, right? I mean, the Wii U does.
Wow, you're selling it hard.
Yeah,
you want to get next gen, kid? You got no choice.
Well,
right
the
now.
point
Get in the car.
If we're talking about the holiday season, I think we should talk about it in that context. Are you pre-ordering those systems versus this? It's about the games. We all say that.
Yep.
We sit up here, we react to the $399 price on the PS4, which may or may not include the Eye, right? So what do you have to pay for the camera that goes with it? Because people were making a big deal, right, between that and the Xbox One. It's a $100 price. You're like, it's over. The war is over. No, because you're gonna want to play one of those exclusive games so bad. And Nintendo has a great lineup here. And so if you are that, if Super Mario 3D Land is for you and your family and your friends and you love to play that way, that's what it comes down to. So every time people ask me that, what system should I buy? I'm like, what games do you want to play? And then sometimes they don't even know what games are coming out. So look at what games you want to play. I think it definitely has value at $349. These consoles, for what they're selling, the Xbox and PS4 for, they're doing a lot. So that's pretty cheap. Sure. So I do think it's valuable, but you got to really want the games and what's coming. Don't make the mistake of buying into something for one game, but it's going to come down to that.
Damon, I don't like Fran.
I know.
That was a very level-headed response. You did well there. Vote with your dollars.
Sorted it out.
Educated. You sorted it out. Sorted it out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. A huge thank you to all of our guests over the past 2 days. It's been quite the journey, Mr. Hadfield, and we're so glad you, the viewer, could take it with us.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Stick around, though. We're going to be running highlights of all the conferences from yesterday, and then we're going to be back at 12 p.m. when the show floor doors open with tons more live E3 coverage.
Until then, I'm Greg Miller. He's Damon Hatfield. We'll see you soon. Beyond.
E3 2013 Post Show.
Give me 4 seconds and a clear signal. I'll get in, and you'll never know. But I want you to know. You're not anonymous. I've seen your kind before. I've made mistakes, hurt people I love. All because of men like you. You think you're untouchable? I'm here to shatter your illusions.
2001, a real-world exercise tested the emergency response to a bioterror attack on the continental United States. The operation was called Dark Winter. Within just a few days, the simulation spiraled out of control. The operation predicted a rapid breakdown in essential institutions, civil disorder, and massive civilian casualties. Dark Winter has revealed how vulnerable we've become. Our lifestyle, our security, our safety depends on a delicate and unstable economy. We've created a system so complicated that we no longer understand how to control it. Oil, power, shipping, transport. We live in a complex world. And the more complex it gets, the more fragile it becomes. The system is built on a global supply chain that gets things where they're needed, just in time. We've created a house of cards. Remove just one, and everything falls apart. And what's fueling this system?
Money. Americans can spend $90 billion in a single day of shopping. Last year, 200 million people swarmed their local stores on November 23rd. We call that day Black Friday. Did you know that a flu virus can survive on the surface of a banknote for up to 17 days? One day, there will be a pandemic. It could begin during the crush of Black Friday sales. A pathogen will jump from tainted banknotes to human skin, onto food, toys, children, and loved ones. By the time patient zero feels the first sore throat, millions of people will already be infected. From this point, the breakdown will happen fast.
Day 1, hospitals will reach capacity. Panic will strike. Day 2, quarantine zones will be established. Resources will be rationed. Transport will go into lockdown. Day 3, international trade will stop. The oil will dry up. The stock market will collapse. Day 4, the power will fail. The shelves will be empty. The taps will run dry. And once hunger and despair take hold, people will do anything for survival. By day 5, everyone will be a potential threat.
In 2007, a new presidential directive was signed quietly into law. This maps out the government's response to a crisis, a plan to cope with a real dark winter. It is known as Directive 51. There are rumors of shadow agencies, sleeper cells, covert agents, but nothing can be confirmed.
Our complex world is primed for breakdown.
And once the chaos strikes,
there won't be resources to save us all.
The only question left is, what will it take to save what remains?
Hello everyone, I'm Niklas Tiderström, Creative Director at Massive Entertainment. It's a scary question, isn't it? But we have the answer. Today we're extremely proud and excited to share with you all a whole new entry of one of our most beloved franchises. That's been 3 weeks since the deadly pandemic hit New York City on Black Friday. So what will it take to save what remains? The Division, a classified unit of self-supported tactical agents, our last hope when all else fails. In the game you're about to see, my friends and I have been dispatched to the Brooklyn area. With one of us playing on his tablet in real time, we're heading towards a police station we heard was in bad shape.